Hey guys, it's Renata. So for today's Ask Renata Anything, I'm answering a question from my Instagram. And the question is, how can I stop eating all the bread? I love this question, not just because it's hilarious, but because I can totally identify as being the person that would eat the entire bread basket, not thinking twice, but then later totally regretting it. So I have 3 tips that I'm going to tell you about that actually really helped me. So I'm hoping that they will help you as well. But first, I want to get serious for a second. I want to say something about carbs. Now, I feel like a lot with our clients, they think that they can either eat all the carbs or they cannot eat any carbs, especially if you want to be healthier and lose weight. A lot of people have this idea that you cannot eat any bread or pasta or tortillas because for some reason they think that carbs are the devil. I want to dispel this, which might be very controversial for people, but you do actually need carbohydrates in your diet. Carbohydrates are a macronutrient, meaning that you need them in a bigger quantity in your diet so that your body and your cells function properly. Now, there's obviously a distinction. There's refined carbohydrates like breads and pastas, and there's unrefined carbohydrates like fruits and vegetables. So I wanted to point out this distinction because cutting out bread and pasta may not work for everybody. Yes, definitely, if you have a gluten insensitivity or allergy, cutting out gluten breads is obviously going to be the best thing for you because you need to do the things that work for your body. And that's really the point of this whole thing. We want to figure out what works best for you. Now, for other people, they may find that they can eat bread and not have any adverse reactions, which is awesome. You do you. But the overall message here is you do need carbohydrates in your body and you need to pick the ones that work best for you, whether they be refined or unrefined. Okay, so I mentioned that I have 3 tips that helped me to not eat all the bread when it comes to the table. And these 3 tips are knowing what you're eating, knowing why you're eating it, and then noting how you feel after you eat them. Okay, so let's go to tip number 1. What are you eating? Most bread is made with white flour. Now, white flour just means flour that has been refined to the point where they bleach it so that it's white, but unfortunately, the refining process also takes out a lot of the vitamins and minerals that we actually need for our bodies and our cells to operate properly. So while in some cases they add these vitamins and minerals back into the flours, sometimes they just don't. And unfortunately, that means that you're not getting your biggest nutritional bang for your buck. So what I like to do is opt for whole wheat versions of bread. This means that it's undergone much less refining, so it has much more micronutrients in it. The other thing that is great about whole wheat breads is that it has much more fiber in it. Fiber helps the digestive system, which means that everything is operating as it should to get out of your system, but also fiber helps us to feel full. And I don't know about you, but I actually want to feel full when I eat. So I opt for whole wheat versions to help me feel full as well as make sure my digestion is working properly. Tip number 2, know why you're eating. This is a big one. I used to be the worst at getting hangry, and that was because I wouldn't eat the right kinds of foods and I would eat very infrequently. So if you find that you're getting super hangry and it means that if you see a basket of bread on the table that you are demolishing that thing, then listen up. So what we always recommend to our clients is that we like you to eat every 2 to 3 hours, preferably with a protein-based meal or snack. And what that does is twofold. Number 1, protein has the biggest satiation factor, which means that it helps you feel more full than you would if you just ate bread or other carbohydrates. So that's really important to note. We want you to feel full so that you don't overeat later. And secondly, eating frequently means that your insulin levels or your blood sugar levels will remain constant throughout the day. So you won't get to the point where your blood sugar starts off really steady and then it drops off, and that's when you get hangry and then you start eating everything in sight. I don't want you to get there. So eating at a constant interval, usually every 2 to 3 hours, means that your blood sugar will remain constant throughout the day, as well as you won't have to overeat in order to get that sense of fullness at meal times. So those are 2 really important tips to understand why you're eating all the bread. And the last tip number 3, is noting how do you feel after you eat the bread. Now, not everybody will have an adverse reaction to eating a bunch of bread, and that's totally cool. But for me, I found that if I ate way too much bread, I would feel bloated and lethargic and honestly really sleepy. And I did not want to feel that way. So what I ended up doing is slowly tapering back the amount of bread I was eating. And what I found was I actually have a threshold to how much bread I can eat every day. If I go beyond that threshold, I start feeling bad again. I have those same symptoms of feeling lethargic and tired and just not the best Renata. So I don't want to feel that way necessarily, and it was great for me to figure out where that threshold is. So I encourage you to think about, how do you feel after you eat a whole bunch of bread? And if you do feel lethargic or lacking energy or feeling really sleepy after you eat a bunch of bread, then it's your body's way of telling you that you're eating too much of it, and likely there is a threshold to how much you can eat every day. Once you keep this in mind, I feel like it will help you to not overeat, because you already know what the outcome will be if you do. So make sure you keep that in mind, and also just be really cognizant when you do eat any kind of food, what you feel like afterwards. Because just like I mentioned earlier, not everybody's bodies work the same way, and we really just want to find out what works best for you. I hope you enjoyed these tips. If you did, let me know in the comments which tip you're going to implement today. I'm really curious to see what are your eating habits when it comes to bread, and if any of these tips will help you be more cognizant around how much bread you're eating. I definitely don't want you to feel bad if you do eat bread and you don't feel any adverse effects. That is so awesome. But if you do feel like you're overeating bread and you do feel bad, like your body feels bad when you do eat that much bread, then please take some time and consider these tips. I really want to help you just figure out what works best for your body, because when we figure that out, that means we're really creating the positive habits to help you eat in a healthful way for the rest of your life. Okay, if you have any other questions, let me know in the comments, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye!